What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. In this video, I'm going to talk about which Galaxy phone you should buy out of the S22, S22 Plus, and S22 Ultra, because you might be coming into this new from maybe a Note phone, or maybe a regular Galaxy S phone, or inexpensive phone, or an old phone, or an iPhone, or whatever phone, and you're just curious which of these phones you should buy. Well, I'm going to break it down really simply, really quickly, and let's just dive right into it. And we'll start off with the big boy. We'll talk about the Galaxy S22 Ultra and the people that should buy this phone. I'll give you a bunch of reasons on why you should buy this phone over the other two phones. So the S22 Ultra obviously is their biggest, their best phone that you can buy. So right off the bat, if you're a person that wants and needs and loves having the very best that a company puts out, day-to-day usage and everything about this phone will probably be the very best phone that Samsung puts out all of 2022, and definitely better than all of the other Galaxy S22 phones. Also with the S22 Ultra, you have the integrated S Pen. So if you are curious, or you need, or you love, or you want, or you just whatever reason you want to be able to interact with that S Pen on the Galaxy S22 line of phones, the Ultra version is the only one that's going to have S Pen compatibility. And also the S Pen goes inside of the phone, which is a great thing because it brings along with it Bluetooth features, air gestures, air actions, all kinds of different things you can do with it. You can write directly on the display, you can control it from far away, you can do all kinds of things with it. It really makes it a great phone to get just alone with that S Pen, because no other phone, especially on the Samsung line, well, a couple phones have it now, but it's generally one of the only phones that you can get that has it, especially integrated at this point. Storage is also another reason. So the other two phones max out at 128 and 256 gigs of storage. You can get potentially, definitely up to 512 gigs of storage on the Ultra version, maybe up to 1 terabyte of storage as well. So if you need a bit of extra storage, 512 or even 1 terabyte, you're definitely going to want to go with the Ultra line. Also RAM. RAM helps with performance. Not to say that the other phones are going to be slouches, but if you don't want to have to worry about it and you just want to make total sure that from years to come now, you're going to have a phone that's going to be running beautiful, especially if you're a heavy user of a phone, get the Galaxy S22 Ultra. It'll start off at 8 gigs of RAM, just like the other versions, but it comes with also 12 and 16 gigs of RAM installed in the phone to give you the ultimate best performance. Also, the cameras, you can see right here, 108 megapixel primary camera with up to 100x zoom. So if you want the best cameras out of the Galaxy S22 line, it's gonna have, just spec-wise, higher end cameras than the other ones as well. So again, it's going to be a big reason to jump onto that Ultra line. So those are my main reasons that a person would want to get the S22 Ultra phone. Next is the Galaxy S22 Plus phone, which I think will probably be, if I had to put my money down, probably the best seller out of all the Galaxy S22 phones that we're going to talk about today. The reason being is it's going to come in at that middle price. So the phones themselves start off at $799 for the S22, $999 for the S22 Plus, and $1199 for the Ultra version, and then they go up from there depending upon storage and RAM amounts that you get for the Ultra, and same goes for the 22 and the 22 Plus. S22 Plus starting off at $999, you're getting a lot, and you're getting a lot of the same features that you do on the Ultra version. I'm going to highlight some of them right now. So when we look at this spec sheet on the 22 Plus, you do get a 6.6 inch 1080p plus resolution display. So obviously the display is less resolution than the Ultra, and it's a little bit smaller, but it still has that 120 hertz refresh rate, and it has the same peak brightness of 1750 nits that the Ultra does. So it's going to be the brightest display ever from Samsung. It also has the same processor, the same base amount of RAM at 8 gigs, but the Ultra ultimately has 12 and 16 gigs as well. Storage wise, you get 128 or 256. Battery is a little bit smaller, 4,500 milliamps versus 5,000, but take into effect, this is a lower resolution display, but it still look great. Probably won't even be able to tell the difference. And it's smaller too, so I wouldn't worry too much about the battery being smaller on this phone. And then look at that, the camera is 50 megapixel, 12 megapixel, 10 megapixel, 10 megapixel. So really great cameras in this. Maybe not as great as the Ultra, but pretty close enough that you probably will have some really nice photos when you take it. It's gonna have that same ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor. And then these are nice too. Like I said, it's smaller, but it's also gonna be lighter, which is amazing. And then it still gets the same water resistance, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi 6, Android 12, One UI 4.1. So the main things you're missing out are, I'd have to say, just, day-to-day usage. What you'll probably notice, the big difference is the S Pen. You're not going to get an S Pen on this version, but you're going to still get a really fairly big phone at that, with a lot of the same specs, and you're going to save a little bit of money too, at least $200 on this phone that you'll save. But again, you're getting less RAM, you're getting a little less you're getting twice the less resolution on this phone. There's some things to be concerned with, but day-to-day usage for the normal person that just plays some games and social media and takes photos, this phone's probably the best phone to get out of all the S22s for most people. And then lastly, we have to put these side by side, the S22 and S22 Plus. There's some differences here, not a ton difference, probably less differences with these versus the 22 Ultra, but ultimately you are getting a smaller display. The smallest of all these phones is at 6.1, 1080p resolution, 120 hertz. The brightness is a little less at 1500, which is still really, really bright. You're getting the same processor, the same RAM, the same memory storage, same as the other S22 Plus. The camera's the same as the 22 Plus. The biometrics are the same. It's obviously smaller and lighter as well, and you get the same, IP68 water resistance, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi 6, Android 12, One UI 4.1. The big difference with this one is if you want a slightly smaller phone now, which is important. Some people just want a small phone. Get the 22. It's the smallest out of the bunch, and it's basically the same as the 22 Plus, but just in a smaller package, slightly less brightness on the display. But again, that's a really, really bright display, almost brighter than almost any other phone still on the market today. But yeah, I think out of the three phones, I think the best phone for most people, for what most people do, is probably the 22 Plus. Other than that, I think the best phone obviously to buy for me and for people that really want to go head on and want the best experience and the best of the best that a company puts out and want an experience that's not held back really, get the 22 Ultra. And when you get the 22 Ultra, get it in at least 256 gigs of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM. If not, go all the way up to getting 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage or 1 terabyte of storage. Really max your experience out if you want with that. But I think the sweet spot on the 22 Ultra is the 256 gigs of storage and the 12 gigs of RAM. And then again, if you just want the smallest phone with a really good experience, probably still get the S22. Let me know what you guys think. What is the best phone to buy out of the bunch for most people? And then what's the phone you're gonna get? And then which one do you think is the best overall? Put it in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.